Good morning. It is Friday. It's November the 11th. It's 10:30. It's Veterans Day, so I have the day off. And I honestly don't even remember the last time that I vlogged. I know that I've had many of intentions to pick up the camera over the past several weeks, but I just haven't been able to for, I think, just the simple fact that I've just been really tired and really overwhelmed. And I just didn't feel like I had anything positive to say that would be helpful to anyone. So I don't even remember. I think it's been at least a month, maybe 6 weeks or so since I last vlogged. And at the time when I just didn't pick up the camera, I really thought that was only gonna last for like a week or two. Because at that time I just really needed to take a break. Like I just needed to kind of minimize the amount of responsibility that I have. And although YouTube is like a fun thing to do, it is kind of a responsibility in my mind. And so I was like, I just needed a break. And honestly, I got to a point where I wasn't really active on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. It was kind of like I just wanted to exist in life without anyone really knowing what I was doing or what I was thinking, if that makes sense. And so that was the initial reason. And then after that, things just kind of became more and more chaotic, more and more busy, more and more overwhelming. I think the last time I was vlogging was parent conference week. And I don't even know if I vlogged during that week. But a lot has happened since the last time you saw me. That was really just kind of tiring and overwhelming. Since last you saw me, I think I finished parent conference week, which in and of itself is a stressful week. I had to help organize with my leadership class and host a rally. That has been done. There was a death at my school site, like a sudden death of one of the staff members, which was, you know, just kind of put everybody in this weird mental space, including myself. Even though I wasn't necessarily super close with this particular staff member, it was still a colleague of mine. It was a fellow teacher, someone that was on my team last year. My parents had to deal with like a massive financial scam that they found themselves in. So then I was, you know, worrying and helping out with that. That is still in the process of being resolved. I feel like there's other things, and just like the stress of the month of October/November, just like around that time of year is for me when I'm really tired. We don't get a fall break where I'm at. So at that point, we've been in school from August till October with, you know, not a significant break. We've had a day off here or there. And then the needs of my class this year are just extremely high in some regards, higher than what they've been in the past. And on top of that, just a couple days ago, there was not a death of a coworker, but a coworker lost their spouse unexpectedly. And this is a coworker that really is, you know, very uplifting on campus. Like everybody knows this person. This person has been very kind to me. And so that was just kind of sad. And so a lot has happened during the last several weeks. And it hasn't helped me feel any more rested. It only made me feel more exhausted than what I was before. And on top of that, just in general with YouTube, I don't even, like at this point, I feel like I'm not really contributing anything new. I feel like I have been doing this for a while, mostly teacher vlog format, and that what I'm sharing is redundant. Like I've shared it before. I'm not sharing anything new. I'm not sharing any new thoughts or perspectives. So I have felt like just kind of like ineffective when it comes to YouTube, as far as what I'm sharing. So that's just honestly where I've been at mentally. And I think in the first few weeks where I wasn't uploading, I did get some people checking in on me and like inquiring as to when the next vlog would come. And that is very kind and very sweet and makes me feel nice that people are missing the content that I was giving and wondering where I'm at and hoping that I'm safe. But even people asking like, when is the next vlog coming, was causing me stress. I think I just got to a point where I realized I have just, over the years, spread myself too thin, whether that be with like actual school stuff or things that I do that are school related but are outside of the classroom, social media, YouTube, all of that. I just feel like I've spread myself too thin, and you know, I needed to take a step back. And there's a big part of me that wonders if after maybe the next 6 months to a year that I'll really kind of take a step back from YouTube, just because quite honestly it's been nice these past few weeks not having to worry about getting things edited and uploaded over the weekend, because my weekends were just becoming like work, just in a different way. I haven't even been doing my hair. Like I haven't been doing twist outs and all of that, because everything has just started to feel like work, if that makes sense. And I've been so tired and so exhausted that I've wondered, like, is it a medical condition? Like it feels like chronic exhaustion. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been thinking. I have been a little bit more active on TikTok and Instagram lately, but those are all very easy things to do. Just very quick little clips of something fun and lighthearted. But yeah, so I'm just here to say hello and check in. And I think what's gonna happen with this vlog is this will probably be either in the beginning or at the end. And I think I'll just share the footage that I had been taking, and I just never edited it and uploaded it, and we'll try and just start from scratch from there. So I don't know how logical this video is going to be in terms of like the progression of it. I don't even remember what was going on. I think the last time I vlogged was the week that we found out my coworker had died. I think that was what was going on, and that was clearly just kind of a odd and strange week, because as a staff we had to kind of figure out what to do. Students had lost their teacher, and in that same week there was a lot of student behavior issues going on, and I had seen some things that I found to be disturbing. So I just was in this weird mental space. So with that being said, I don't even know where this clip is gonna go. I have a feeling, again, it's gonna be in the beginning, so I'm gonna talk as if it is going to be. I hope you enjoy the footage that I was able to capture and share. And I'm gonna really try my hardest to kind of get back on a normal track with next week, and just kind of share that. And then after that, I'll be on another break, because the week after that is Thanksgiving, and I don't have any plans to vlog there. No matter what happens with my channel, I do know that before all is said and done, if that's what I decide to do, I'm definitely gonna do a financial update video. That is a long time coming in terms of the update. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I just paid off 2 more credit cards. I'm down, and I paid off my Peloton. I'm down to 1 last credit card. And I think I can do that by the end of the year, because the other thing that I have done, although I just said I've spread myself too thin, is I've started doing this after school program with the district where it's Mondays and Fridays from 3:30 to 4:15, and it's just like an enrichment or just activity. So it's really easy. I just go to different schools and I play board games with elementary school kids. But it's another way that another thing that I've done to bring in a little extra income, because I really want to get these debts paid off. So, but I'm gonna try and get back on a normal schedule next week. It is the week before Thanksgiving break. I won't vlog during Thanksgiving break, and then we're gonna see what happens after that, okay? So, enjoy the footage. It's gonna end abruptly. My apologies, and I will see you next week. I'm gonna put that out there in the universe. I will see you next week for a normal vlog. Bye. Good morning. It's Monday, September the 26th. It's a little after 7, not quite 7:10. I'm attempting to do the awkward car angle. I tried once again after the first time I did it, and the phone just kept falling all over the place, so then I stopped trying. I think it just depends on how I have the phone laying up, so we're gonna see. You're either gonna see this clip or you're not. But it is Monday. It is the first day of parent conference week. And the last vlog was just you seeing me just muscle through a Friday that just was not smooth. Like, a bunch of little things just went wrong, which really made for quite the day. I spent some time this weekend trying to rest and recuperate. I did actually do a little bit of work over the weekend because we do have conference week, and there were just like random things I really felt like I needed to do. I got most of it done, not all of it. I did some lesson planning, but I really just did that yesterday. I did take the day Saturday just to rest and not do anything at all. And I woke up this morning and we're officially at the part of the school year where I just need a break. And this is right around the time where other schools, I guess, well, other teachers in different states start talking about their fall break. And every year I hear them or see reference to that, I just think to myself, why on earth don't we have a fall break? It is the perfect thing to have, because I really do think this is around the time of the year where the school year has been going for a couple months, like you are officially in the thick of it, and you're just like exhausted to a point where the weekend really isn't cutting it. Because if your weekends are anything like mine, there are things that you have to do during the weekend to make sure that you remain sane during the week, which therefore means you're not really totally resting during the weekend. You're just doing a different kind of work. So I definitely feel like I need a break. I'm not going to get one because we have no such thing as a fall break. I think we get a random Monday off in October. It used to be like Columbus Day, but obviously it's not that anymore. But they give it to us anyway as a non-student day. It's called, when we negotiated, one of the superintendents referred to it as like the crusty day, because she was saying like, this is the time of year where teachers are like, I need a minute. I need to rest. And so I think that happens in October. I believe that happens in October. And then besides that, we don't have a break until Thanksgiving break. So, Latanya can use a break, but it's parent conference week, which means it's a minimum day. Every day this week, we get out at 1, and then conferences start from about 1 to 4, except for Wednesday and Thursday. Those are the universal late days. So we all schedule conferences later in the day on those days. I'm in charge of helping to organize 8th and 6th grade and some of 7th grade leadership and yearbook students who volunteer on those days. They just help with timekeeping for teachers, student runners, and all of that. So I'm not sure how much vlogging I'll be able to do, because the days go by really fast and I don't really have a ton of time in between. I could try and vlog during my prep, but sometimes I really need that time, and my prep period is shortened because it's a minimum day. So every class period I think is shortened by like 10 minutes. But I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna also try and remember to share my outfits this week by showing you the Insta stories that I do, because obviously during parent conference week I try to look extra presentable. And so some people may be curious as to what that means for me. So I will try and share that with you. So, is that one of my students? No, it is not. But anyhow, I just got to work. I need to go in here, finish lesson planning for the week for language arts. And, I'm getting ready for my first set of conferences today. Wish me luck. Okay. Bye. It's 2:38 and school ended 8 minutes ago. And I'm actually getting ready to take my shoes off and put my house shoes on, because I just need to be in a house shoe, because it's just been a day. Nothing traumatic has happened. It's just been one of those Mondays where you just can't catch your breath. Like where you start one task and you can never finish it because you're being interrupted by like phone calls, emails, questions, and you just feel frazzled all day. And that's how I feel. And I'm gonna have to stay here after school a little bit longer than what I probably would have wanted, because I have some grading that I need to get done and entered. They, meaning my students, have an essay coming up this week. They're either gonna start it Thursday, Friday, or they're going to be in the process of writing, or no, they're either going to be at the point where they can start planning it come Friday, or planning/writing it. And so I need to make sure I grade their first essay with some feedback before they start writing their second essay, so that they know whether or not they were on the right track with their very first essay. So I need to get that done, and that takes time. And then there's just all these other random things I need to do. And just grades I need to enter, like grades that are, looks like, okay, grades that are like things that are graded, but I just haven't been able to get it into the grade book because conference week really strips you of all like time after school, so you get backed up. So yeah, I'm here to say hello. The day, like generally speaking, went okay. It just wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be, and that was just like on my end. I think the kids were fine. They knew what they needed to do. We got everything done, but I just felt mentally frazzled, which I hate feeling that way. So in history, there's nothing to show because they were just answering questions from some reading that we did last week, and they did their weekend wrap, which is what we do every Monday. And then in language arts, we did the first read of Cujo. And so for this story, like, I've had some people ask my experience with StudySync, and every story I just feel like needs background built. So I just use the slides that I made last year using Canva. I've probably shown these slides to you guys in a previous vlog if you've been following me for a while. It looks like I closed them out, but I just make slides to present information that I feel like StudySync fails to present, that I think would also interrupt a student really understanding what's going on in the story. So for Cujo, I needed them to understand the characters that they are meeting in this little segment of the story that they're reading. So I made these slides last year, and I just used them again today. So there's always like an intro slide. Very briefly told them about Stephen King, that he's a very well-known author who has many movies made based on his books, and then just set the stage of what they were going to be reading about. So I needed them to know that the story is set in the 80s. It's a hot summer day. The main character is Donna, and she has a small son named, I think his name is Tad, and that they're in this empty parking lot, and that the story is told in third person. So I really spent a lot of time there making sure they understood it's the 80s, okay? So Donna doesn't have all the technology that we're used to in the situation she's gonna find herself in. So no phones, no tablets, no smart devices, no air conditioner in that car, no electric windows, and all those things matter when they read this little section of the story of her being trapped in this car while Cujo is out. Then I told them about Cujo, made sure they knew that Cujo was a Saint Bernard, that Saint Bernards are large in stature and weight, and that Donna is familiar with Cujo because he's a neighborhood dog, but unfortunately Cujo has contracted rabies. And so then I showed them this very brief video that I found on YouTube that I probably also closed, that explained what rabies is. Looks like, yeah, I closed that video. It's a couple minutes long. It's told by a veterinarian, and she just kind of talks about what rabies is, what happens to a dog when it has rabies, that there's two types of rabies, like paralytic rabies, which is known as dumb rabies, where the dog is just like not able to coordinate its movement, and then furious rabies, where a dog is expressing like extreme behaviors, extreme aggressive behaviors, and made sure they know Cujo has furious rabies. And then we listen just for the first read. I did tell them though that they are going to have an essay, and that the essay prompt is going to be based on Donna and how she handles herself in this situation. So said, you know, this is your first read, but you might want to really pay attention to what Donna's doing and saying, but we will read this more than once, and we will focus a little bit more intently on collecting text evidence to be able to answer some questions, because tomorrow I believe they are doing the first read questions. So that was what we did in language arts, and then after that we pretty much had no time. So tomorrow in history is when we're I don't know if I've mentioned, but the next project that they're going to do is they're going to be creating these interviews, and I'll show you that tomorrow. but not now. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is one of my students in one of my classes, during our parent conference week, her mom saw me eating apples with some peanut butter, and she's like, oh, that's where she got that from. Like, I guess the student had never eaten apples with peanut butter before, and the mom was trying to figure out where did she get that from, and she's like, she must have gotten it from you. And then we started talking about snacks, and then she was saying her daughter is very thin, but like is apparently a voracious eater of snacks and all things. And then we talked about Trader Joe's and all this stuff. And so then the next day her daughter came to school and she had some of these Scandinavian, what are they called, swimmers, because she knows I like gummy bears. That's like a key piece of information I tell my kids at the beginning of the year. So she brought these to school the next day and asked if I wanted to try them. So she gave me a couple, and they are quite tasty. And then she came today and bought me a bag as well as Taylor a bag. So these are from Trader Joe's. They are very good. She said they are hard to find at the Trader Joe's near where we are at, because they're just out. When I went this weekend, I did see these kind of hanging in the aisle, and I didn't get them because I was trying to show some self-restraint. But then she bought them for me, so I told her that's God's way of saying that I was supposed to have these this week. So Trader Joe's Scandinavian swimmers. If you like Swedish fish, I feel like these are like that but better. Like, Swedish fish are gummy, but then like they could be gummier, and these kind of fit that. So if you're looking for a snack to try at Trader Joe's, I would recommend these. Now, off to work with my house shoes on. I'll talk to you guys. It's 4:45 and I am done here, just here for today. I'm getting ready to go home, walk Riley, because quite frankly my eyes need a break from just staring at a screen. And then I'm going to continue to work, because on my list of things to do today, I need to still pay my bills. I've graded one thing, that's what I was just working on, but I haven't even started grading the essays, and that is important. What I was just grading, sorry, I'm looking for my pencil pouch, was a common formative assessment that we gave a few weeks ago. And we were supposed to grade these in our PLC time, but then that suddenly changed. And I just haven't had the time to go in there and grade my individual students. And I just did that. And the assessment was on, basically the standard is saying, can students identify the strongest piece of text evidence to support a claim, and then explain why that text evidence is the strongest piece. And we had a lot of conversations surrounding the CFA. There are some things that we need to adjust and some things that we learned in the process. But what we realized is, or at least I realized by just grading the ones that I have, let me see if I can hide some things so I can show you what I'm looking at, is that some of the kids that just didn't do well, they didn't understand a very key vocabulary term. Like, they didn't understand the word deter. And so this piece of a passage that they read was basically telling them that violent movies can actually, or there's research that shows that violent movies can actually deter criminal behavior. Some kids didn't know what deter meant, and it's clear that they thought the word deter meant increased or encouraged. So if that's what they thought the word deter meant, then there was no way that they were going to pick the correct piece of text evidence to go with that, unless of course they guessed and got that by chance. So there was that. And then some kids, they picked a piece of text evidence that's valid, like it does support that idea that the author is saying that, but it wasn't the strongest piece of text evidence as per whoever designed these questions in this test. And that's where a lot of the conversation went. And so at the end of the day, when we were having this back and forth about the CFA and should we have done this and what about that, and what if they picked the wrong piece of text evidence but they can actually justify it coherently, we had to get back to the basics of whether we like these tests or not. This is the way these tests are designed, and these tests are designed with an answer that they are specifically looking for a student to select. And there comes a point where you have to, part of teaching is teaching kids how to play the game of standardized test taking. Like why this piece of text evidence is actually stronger than the one you selected. Not that the one that you selected was wrong, it's just this one is deemed as stronger for these reasons. And therefore you need to explain it based on that. So we learned some things, but I just finished grading mine, and what I decided to do is color code it, because this is for that class where I'm not teaching really my students. I'm teaching a mix of kids from different places. It's my least favorite hour of the day because I don't find this system or this design that we have at this school and as a district super effective, but I'm trying to make it work as best as I can and not waste the kids' time and not feel like I'm wasting time. So I took the kids that I have and then I color coded their responses, red, yellow, and green. As you can see, most of the kids were in the red. A few were yellow and a few were green. Red means they just picked the wrong piece of text evidence right off the bat. So they need help identifying the strongest piece of text evidence. Yellow meant they picked the right piece of text evidence, but their explanation as to why that was the best piece was pretty weak or needed to be strengthened. Green means like, it doesn't even necessarily mean that it was perfect, but they were pretty on point. Like they did everything they needed to do. There may have been little things here or there they could have added, but they had it. So I need to take that information and figure out how to differentiate within this class that is theoretically differentiated. And I just don't have the energy to do that right now. So the hardest part is done. I'm gonna go home, take a break because my eyes are just worn out from looking at a screen, and try and look at that and see what I want to do to just make this class feel more meaningful for all of us. With that being said, I'm gonna go home now, get some fresh air, walk, and then I get to just do some more work. And if I sound bitter about that, it's because I am. I just wanna go home and just be done, so. But that's not possible today. So let me stop talking, let me go. See you tomorrow. Good morning, it's Tuesday. It is about 9:45. My next class starts in about 7 minutes. Where did I end off the day yesterday? I think yesterday I was here saying I needed to go home and figure out what to do in my UA class, my Universal Access class, which is the class that's next. And I think I was in a bit of a mood. And that mood just worsened when I got home. I think it's just really hormonal. Like there are times where I have PMS so bad that like I just am just annoyed by everything and everybody. So I went home, walked Riley, pulled my clothes out, and as I was getting my clothes ready for today, I was watching this interview with Keisha Knight Pulliam, who played Rudy Huxtable on The Cosby Show, which was a very important show in my house growing up. And even her talking in that interview was annoying to me, and she wasn't saying anything annoying or doing anything annoying. I think my level of irritability was that high, and I thought to myself, if Rudy Huxtable is getting on your nerves, something's not right. so then that's when I knew that I just was having a day. I was in a mood. So I never ended up really doing any work when I got home. Like it just felt impossible by the time I walked Riley. I went home, I paid bills that had to be done, and I mean, I kind of thought about what I wanted to do, but I didn't really physically put anything on paper. But I think I know what I'm gonna do today. So I don't think I've ever showed this, but what I do for sure in these UA classes. I have 2 classes. One's called UA Blue, which I have on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. One is called UA Gold, which is on Thursdays and Fridays. And theoretically, it's a leveled group. But like I was saying yesterday, within this class, there's multiple levels in there. So the leveling of these kids is not even great. And so one thing that we do have to do is have the kids work on IXL for 15 minutes. That's just a grade level agreement. So that's the first thing that they do, is they come in, they'll work on IXL for 15 minutes. And I've been doing these 6-minute podcasts. I don't think I've shared this with you guys. If I haven't, I'm repeating myself. My apologies. But this is just a Teachers Pay Teachers product that I purchased, where you get all these podcasts. And then there's a Google form quiz that goes along with it. I'm going to see if I can show it to you. This is not what I want to show you right now. All right, here we go. So it comes with these Google form quizzes. I modify them to make them look nicer because I don't like the way they look. So I added, or I changed this header up here. But the questions and everything is pre-made. So you don't have to really do anything. The only thing I have to add to these forms is I ask for their first name, their last name, and which UA class they're in. So you listen to this podcast that is linked on the original Google form, but because of my district, I can't play it. But luckily, the tech person at my site found the website where all these 6-minute podcasts are coming from, and so I just play it from there, and I link this link into the Google form. So the kids actually have access to the podcast at all times, because this is supposed to mimic a listening test. And so we listen to it together, and as they're listening to it the first time, I do tell them the things that they really want to be listening for. So today they're going to have this up, and these are the things that they want to listen for as they're listening to 6 minutes of this podcast. And what this podcast really is, it's an ongoing story that is told in 6-minute chunks. And so they're on episode 3 today. So I project that screen up that says, these are the things that you want to listen for. Last week, I told them that they should start practicing taking notes on a Google Doc, because when they take these kinds of tests in real life, they can write things down, but they also have access to a little notepad. So I'm trying to train them on how to do that. So we listened to it on the first day, and then the next day they take the quiz, and then I tell them you have access to the audio if you need to go back and listen again, because that is a skill that we need to practice. So we've been doing that, and that takes up almost, between IXL practice and that podcast portion, takes up at least half of the class time, if not more. It's that last little chunk where I'm focusing on the reading standard that we decided as a grade level, which is citing text evidence and explaining it. And today I'm just going to go over the CFA with them and kind of talk about how within the CFA there were 3 different levels of performance, and talk about how some of us didn't really understand what the author's point of view was, so then that affected our answer choices. Some of us understood it but didn't pick the strongest piece of text evidence, and then some of us understood it, picked the strongest piece of text evidence, and were successful at like explaining why. So we're going to kind of go over that, but I still need to wrap my mind around how am I going to break this class up into smaller groups, and what resources am I going to use, because we are provided with no resources for this class, and we are in fact told not to use this class period with our core curriculum. So we're just kind of out there searching for materials and supplies that we need to have access to. So that's what I've been doing in UA. And then what I was supposed to do was then tell you what we're going to do in social studies today and show you that, but I have now run out of time, so I will probably show that to you later on. But I'm not as irritable today as I was yesterday, but we're not out of the woods yet, so that's where we're at. It's 5:36 and I'm getting ready to go home. I had a meeting after school that I didn't know about until later in the day. It was a PBIS meeting, and then I just committed myself to staying here and getting some grades done and entered. Still not the essays, but I did decide like there are grades that I just needed to get in there that I couldn't get in last week because of conference week. So my agreement was if I stayed here later, got those entered, I wasn't going to worry about starting the essays until tomorrow. So that is the plan. That is what I'm going to do. I don't even think the kids are going to start or be able to start their essays this week, so that gives me a little bit more time. And honestly, like, I just have to have a moment where I'm like, if you don't think you can get those essays graded before Friday, which is when I plan for them to start the essay, then you are in control of your class. You can push the essay to next week, and that'll give you a little bit more time to grade them, because I won't be here on Friday. My sister's coming in town, and so I'm taking that day off. So I'm just alleviating some stress for myself. And sometimes I have to remind myself that I can do that. That's one of the perks of being a teacher and running your own classroom. So I got all that stuff entered, and then I'm gonna go home. I'm not gonna do any grading. I'm just gonna walk Riley, cook some dinner. I might show you the salmon that I cooked from Trader Joe's, because it's something that I have never seen there before. I'm sure it's been there the whole time, but I just hadn't discovered it. So I'm just gonna cook another piece of that salmon, make some rice, and then relax. I think I've put in my hours. And so yeah, oh, I was also gonna show you what I was gonna show you earlier today, but I ran out of time. So they are gonna be doing these interviews in their groups, and this is another activity from History Alive, or TCI, so this is not anything that I came up with. And so basically we looked at two pieces of art that represented European exploration. One was an image of Christopher Columbus claiming San Salvador, and one was two coureurs de bois, which I think is French for wood trappers, in New France. And so in this assignment, they are supposed to conduct an interview and share the perspective of either Christopher Columbus, Spanish soldier, Taino Indians, a coureur de bois, or Huron or Iroquois Indian. And so what I had them do was fill out this Google form that is essentially the questions that the assignment asked them to pose in this mock interview. I had them do that on a Google form to, again, hold every person in the group accountable to getting the information. I told them I will probably assign who's playing what role, and I probably will, because there's like a student in multiple groups who doesn't necessarily always carry their weight. And this is just to let them know, like, you too have to pay attention, because you might be the person playing the part of Christopher Columbus. So I'll probably select that tomorrow. So they filled out the form, and that's all I wanted them to do today. And so I can't remember if I showed you the forms or not. So let me just show one to you if I did. Again, my apologies for the redundancy. But this is the one they would have completed for New France, for the Huron or Iroquois Indians. And so the questions are down below. These came straight off the worksheet that TCI, or History Alive, provided. And so there were 4 different forms that represented the 4 different perspectives included. There were 7 different perspectives, but like, for example, the soldier for Spain and Christopher Columbus is one form because their viewpoints are going to be the same. So they completed this today. And that's what we did in history. And then in language arts, we did the second read of Cujo, annotating for the first read questions, went over the questions, gave them some directives on what they should be highlighting and annotating for based on those questions, shared out the things that they highlighted that they felt like would help them respond to those questions, and discussed why. I like doing that because that does assist the kids who maybe didn't highlight anything at all when they were listening, or maybe highlighted some things but then missed some other things. Now, if they choose to take advantage of that discussion we have, that's great. If they don't, as I tell them, that's on them. And so we were supposed to answer I was gonna have them answer the first 3 questions on Study Sync tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna push that to Friday, because that's something that they can do with the sub that requires minimal sub involvement, and then devote most of tomorrow, if not all of tomorrow, to them scripting out their interviews, and maybe even starting to, maybe not filming them because I want them to have props, but maybe like creating the props for it. So that is what I did today. My battery is showing me it's gonna die. I feel like the battery on this camera is not holding its charge like it used to. So I'm just gonna take that as a signal to leave for the day. But I will try and show you that salmon when I get home. So I should see you later at home. All right, I'm home. It's like 6:45. My mom is notorious for stopping the microwave mid session, and then like it's just like scrolling all day saying please press start. But I almost forgot, but I wanted to show you the salmon that I was talking about, that I got from Trader Joe's. I found it, or saw it I should say, for the first time. and it's just this here. That noise you hear is me making iced coffee. So it's this Atlantic salmon with lemon herb butter, and it's skin on boneless, and then it just has the pieces of herb butter. There's like 3 pieces there, and you put this in the oven, or you can put it in the oven, you can broil it, you can pan fry it. I just did it in the oven, 400 degrees on a preheated baking sheet for 10 to 15 minutes, and that was perfect, and it was tasty. So I'm going to have that, which is what I had for dinner last night, and then I am making some brown rice to go with it, and the rice cooker here that has been going since I was out. I came home and just got back not too long ago from taking Riley on a walk. So the rice is going to be done, and I just put like a little bit of feta cheese in that and a little bit of butter, and that's it. So I wanted to show that to you. If you're looking for something, in that case, healthy and tasty, I would recommend that. So let me go make my iced coffee. See you guys tomorrow. There might be boxes back there. What do you need cardboard for? A trap?
Let's go build some boxes, guys.
This is gonna be an arrow. We're just gonna put the arrow there.
Don't ruin your prop before you get to use it.
She stole my piece.
Oh, we can make a spear too. You guys want?
I didn't steal it.
Do you guys need brown construction paper?
Yes, I literally had it in my hand this magazine.
Do you know if there's any red construction paper?
I mean, Miss Lawrence's drawer is not super organized. So you need brown and what?
Brown, a lot of brown. Everybody's using brown. Oh yeah, a lot more of that color.
What are you guys making?
I'm making a microphone right now. They're trying to make a bow.
A bow and arrow. I don't know if it's going well.
Well, we're gonna get some brown construction paper. You might want to wrap the white in the brown. I mean, but if worse came to worse, I would get that. That's the bow and arrow. Is this the arrow, or is that the spear?
No, this is a spear.
This is the arrow.
That's a fire
It's a little
spear.
bag.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
So I might have to redo that.
I know, I made that thing fire.
Okay, I need more tape. Where'd the tape go?
It was right here. Someone stole it.
They have it over there.
You should put more tape right there. It looks like
I'm gonna make it right now. Miss Robinson, can we get our phones to make a group chat?
What's that noise? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I heard it for like a second.
Is that you guys? Is that you? Was that you? Is that you?
I actually touched it.
Put it away. Put it away.
I'm gonna start making these
I
on
need like a big stick. Like a big stick.
What are you trying to do with the stick?
There's like a trap for fish and it's like a stick.
Like, are you
Give me my staff.
like just to use it as a bigger stick?
As a straw. This is like a fishing pole. And that's why we made it more. That's why we made it more.
That's my hat.
Oh, thank you. It's because you guys had to be a little like that.
Exactly. That's why we were better than you.
When I say what, you say up. What? What? Eyes over here. Now, I know we're all excited about the cute little props you're making, but please make sure you're using your time productively and actually making props and not just showing each other your props, okay? Because right now, this looks like we're doing show and tell with our props.
Oh, here we go. I can use it.
Do you guys know what you're supposed to be doing right now? I don't know. Like, I know that you're in this group, and this is their prop, and you guys should be with and trying to figure out what you could be doing. Yeah, they need help over here. They're wandering and they're lost. Like, is there anything they could be doing?
Molly walked by my car.
Are you guys done?
By my car.
Where did this tape go? They keep stealing.
You guys have to share. Good morning. It's 7:22. I'm getting ready to leave for work after I make my iced coffee. I'm just vlogging right now because I don't really know if I'm gonna vlog much at school today. Hold on one second. There was a tragedy at my school yesterday, not at the school, but involving an individual from the school. And that was, we found that out pretty early in the day yesterday, and everybody is just kind of dealing with it. I'm not going to give any details or say exactly what happened out of respect for the people involved, but it just obviously threw everybody off. The kids, when they found out, the staff, when we all found out, and I think for me, like, it was definitely a sad thing to learn about. But because I was at work all day and like managing kids and teaching and doing all the things that we do, I don't really think it like fully registered or fully like affected me until school was over and I had time in my room alone just to kind of like take a deep breath and rest. So after school, we had a brief staff meeting just to kind of touch base and chat with each other. I thought I was going to go to my room and like start grading some essays, and I sat down to do that and then quickly realized like my brain just can't. Like, I'm not in any mental place to like read an essay and grade it, you know, to my best ability. So I left school and then I just came home, and on top of all that, Riley hadn't been feeling well. Was a little worried about that. I think he's doing better now. He didn't eat yesterday or the day before, didn't even want to go on a walk yesterday. But he woke up this morning bouncing around like he normally does and ate. I think he just had some stomach issues that he has since worked through. So I just came home and I was just kind of down. Like, I'm just not really feeling myself and just feeling like mentally at capacity, as I know I've said before. But then with all that happened yesterday, just kind of like emotionally at capacity, like really just feeling like my brain can't really fit much more stress, whether it be like mental stress, physical stress, or emotional stress. So I'm just gonna try and take it easy today. Taylor's out, so I don't even have like her to kind of, I guess, commiserate with or just kind of, I don't know, pass the time with today. So I think I'm just gonna kind of keep it low key. I did get some footage in class yesterday of the kids like preparing for these interviews. I wish I could have vlogged more about it because they really looked like they were enjoying it. Like, they're really productive in their groups in terms of getting it scripted out. And when I told them, you know, we need props and like some of the props you might just have to make, they were really making props and they were really into it. It almost felt like I was in an elementary classroom because there was construction paper everywhere. They were making things, they were working well as teams. And so I got a little bit of footage of that, but I don't know the quality of it because I was kind of on my phone and doing a lot of different things at the same time. So if it's worth seeing, I'll put it in there. But in all honesty, I don't even know. I'll put you back in the spice cabinet. I don't even know if I'm gonna upload this vlog because I don't really know how it's gonna turn out because I'm taking tomorrow off. Mimi's in town, so I had already scheduled this day to take it off. And now I'm just all the more thankful that I took it off because I really do just need a day. I really and truly just need a day. More than the weekend. And so I'm taking tomorrow off and then we have Monday off, so that'll be good. But yeah, so we'll see how this turns out, how the vlog turns out. And I guess just keep my school staff and students in your thoughts and prayers. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna head to work and I will talk to you guys later.